The complete patch notes for patch 7.3 are out, so let's read through them together while we wait for the maintenance to be over. If you like Final Fantasy XIV lore and news videos, then make sure to give this video a commendation by liking and subscribing. But for now, let's get into the patch notes. To begin with, there are new main scenario quests. You can begin this quest line by speaking to Shale in the back room and beginning the quest Targeted Tragedy. The 7.3 quest line has 10 quests in it and should finish out the Dawntrail story. Chronicles of a New Era quests have been added with the Echoes of Vanity. Part 2 of the raid has 5 quests, and you start them by speaking to the Landsguard messenger in Tuliolal and begin the quest Dreams of Paradise. Tutorials have been added to quests with certain objectives. So when proceeding through quests with objectives such as transporting special objects or escorting NPCs, a window with supplementary information on the quest objective will be displayed. This window will display automatically the first time such an objective are encountered. These explanations can be reviewed again at any time by selecting the question mark icon in the duty list or on the link in the chat log. I am personally hoping this means the game will stop telling me how escort quests work every single time I encounter them. A Phoenix Down reward has been added to the main scenario quest Call of the Sea, and a new chapter has been added to New Game Plus, and that is Dawntrail Part 3. For Fates, new items are available in exchange for bicolor gemstones from the gemstone trader Kajilja in Tuliolal. And then we go into treasure hunts. The following additions and adjustments have been made to treasure maps. Gargantua skin treasure maps have been added, and treasure hunts using Gargantua skin treasure maps are exclusive to the living memory, while rewards from the treasure chest unearthed using this map are the same as Brax skin treasure maps. Only Gargantuan skin treasure maps will grant entry to Vault Oneiron. Apparently, rewards to both Lobos skin treasure maps and the Brax skin treasure maps have been adjusted. Vault Oneiron has been added, which is a special instance similar to the Seno Jaja Coral. It is a new type of treasure dungeon, accessed after finding and opening treasure coffers obtained from Gargantua skin treasure maps. As you enter Vault Oneiron, you will find the Hypnoslot machine that must be used to perform an invocation. Doing so will cause 3 Outrunner screens to cycle through images, summoning different creatures to serve as a trial, depending on where they stop. There is also a chance the invocation may end with your prompt removal from the vault. A treasure chest will appear upon defeating the enemy summoned. Only the player who opened the teleportation portal can access it. So this seems to work exactly the same as other dungeons, and has sort of the same luck-based system as the roulette dungeons, but this time is more of a slot machine. Now we can look at the patterns. We have a single diamond to summon a lesser notion, 3 diamonds summon a greater fancy, a large pink diamond summons an elder Imogen, Broken Heart expels players from the vault, and a treasure chest reveals a more grandiose vision. The duty will end if any of the following conditions are met. Either 5 trials have been passed and the duty is completed, the Outrunner stopped on spaces that remove the party from the duty, or all party members are knocked out. In other treasure hunting updates, apparently the rewards in Cenote Jaja Coral have been adjusted, but they do not specify how so. When it comes to grant and free companies, following adjustments have been made to subaquatic voyages. New areas have been added, new items have been added, and maximum submersible rank has been increased from 130 to 135. In housing updates, new furniture from the design contest have been added. These include a very cute author chair, some sort of a hanging light, a divider with planters, and a log wall with a door matching the current log walls in the game. Other new furnishing has been added. We now seem to have door versions of all of the blank partitions, some workout equipment, 2 new rugs, a sofa, a side table, a bed, and a shelf that holds scrolls. In outside furnishing, we seem to have an orange tree. New orchestration roles have been added, and a new aquarium fish has also been added, along with a new seed for the flower pot in the Champa seed. these can be bought from all of the usual seed vendors. Moving on to Gold Saucer updates, new prizes have been added, which seems to be these 3 t-shirts and potentially the pants as well, though I am not 100% sure on that. They have added both new Triple Triad cards and new opponents, and added more voices to the Doman Mahjong, this time being Vuklamat, Koana and Pakul Jaja. To get these voices, you have to have finished the side quest Every Little Thing She Does Is Mahjong, and the main scenario quest Heaven's Ward. Then speak to the Portier in the Gold Saucer to exchange the gold points to unlock a designated character's voice. The new voices being added in this particular patch will be unlocked as you go through the main scenario story. And apparently the layout of the Mahjong tab of the Gold Saucer menu has been adjusted. In miscellaneous updates, duty support has been added to Cutter's Cry from A Realm Reborn, along with the Mesa Terminal and the Unknown Trial in Dawntrail. Next are adjustments to the Wondrous Tails. New prizes have been added in exchange for Chloe's Silver Certificate. The Time-Worn Brackskin maps are being replaced with the Time-Worn Gargantua skin maps, which you can get every week for finishing 9 duties in the Wondrous Tail Journal. The Mesa Terminal, the Arcadian Cruiseweight and the Vault Oneiron have been added to the Wondrous Tail Journal. And the Asphodelos 1st and 2nd Circle and the Asphodelos 3rd and 4th Circle will now just be the Asphodelos 1st to 4th Circles. The Wondrous Tail will now feature a list of applicable duties for each objective. So a new subcommand, Open Duty or Category, is now available when moving your cursor over objectives in the Wondrous Tail. Furthermore, selecting duties from this list will allow you to proceed directly to the duty finder, hopefully making it easier to queue for the duties you need for the journal. Next is the Fox Hollows. The new Unreal Trial will be the Wreath of Snakes, and new items have been made available in exchange for Fox Leaves, including this very cute little minion. Duty Recorder has been updated, and the 4 duties available for recording are Everkeep, Tune of the First Walk, and Arcadium Cruiseweight Match 1 and Cruiseweight Match 2, in both cases the Savage version. For Island Sanctuaries, a Maximize Length button has been added to the Granaries window, setting the maximum number of days for 2 exploration areas. New hairstyle options have been added for the Viera, and new hairstyle options have also been added to the Hrothgar. The female Hrothgar especially need more hairstyles, so this is very good. I wish they would add more hairstyles than just 1 or 2 each patch. Bangs will now be displayed when wearing headgear, such as hoods, which previously hid them. I think this is gonna look so good because it never made sense to me that your character just loses their hair when they put on certain hoods, especially with the new Viper gear. A large number of headgear items will now display when worn by Viera and Hrothgar. This is a great success, and I really hope they keep on expanding on this and maybe just have all of the new gear actually work on Viera and Hrothgar. I think that would be just marvelous. For Viera specifically, certain headgear items will now allow Viera to toggle the display of their ears. The manually adjust visor button will be replaced with adjust headgear setting, which allows you to either change the visor or the ears. So you can customize if your ears are showing or not. I think this is actually an excellent compromise, and I would love to see them do something similar with other races. When using the clarinet performance section, the delay between pressing keys and music playing has been reduced, so bards can rejoice over that. In emote updates, they have added a new emote, which I desperately need. This one looks so good. You can also use the following emotes when sitting on the ground, with only your character's upper body moving. I'm gonna show a list of the emotes here on the screen. They have also apparently adjusted the motions of some of the They've also adjusted the motions of the think, insist and converse emotes when sitting on the ground. And now for the battle updates. As there are quite a bit of changes to some of the classes, and reading this would be extremely repetitive, I am just gonna show the changes on the screen. So we start with the Monk, Dragoon, Ninja, Samurai, Reaper, Viper, Bard, Machinist, Summoner, Red Mage, Pictomancer, White Mage, Scholar, Astrologian, and finally Sage. The description of certain actions and status effects has been adjusted, though this makes no change to their effects. Apparently the descriptions were just either wrong or not very clear. Then we have changes to the Phoenix Down. It can now be used on players outside of your party and in combat in public areas, along with in combat while undertaking the following type of duties, those being instant dungeons, guild leaves, 4-player trials, treasure dungeons, deep dungeons, field operations, and variant dungeons. Any duties with restriction on Phoenix Down will not display that information in their duty finder description. But this means that more than just the healer are gonna be able to rest, which I think is quite amazing. For Phoenix Down, the range has been extended from 5 to 15 yalms, cast time has been increased from 5 to 8 seconds, and Phoenix Down now has a recast timer of 360 seconds. You can stack it up to 999 in your inventory, and it is now being sold by several vendors around the game, including Aldgast in Ugridania, Blue Lily in Limsolominsa, and Arakia in Ul'dah. An active help window will now appear when obtaining Phoenix Down for the first time, to probably explain just what I told you. A progress bar can now be displayed under the nameplate of certain enemies. To adjust the display of enemy progress bar, you need to check or uncheck the display progress bar under the general tab of display name settings in the character configuration menu. Make note this particular progress bar does only show up on applicable bosses and powerful foes. The setting is gonna be enabled by default. And while the setting currently applies only to bosses and powerful foes in instant content, they are currently considering extending it to public areas such as large-scale fates. A new dungeon is being added with the Meso Terminal. A new trial is also being added. We don't know anything about the trial, but you need to have an average item level of 725, have obviously finished up to a certain point in the story, and this trial can be tackled with NPCs. The extreme version of this mystery trial can only be accessed via the raid finder. To access it, you will need to have an item level of 740 or above, and it requires 8 players. You can unlock the extreme version by finishing the questline, and then speaking with the Wandering Minstrel in Tuliolal. And the items obtained by completing the instance can be exchanged for gear by speaking with Uyashepa in Solution 9. The Wreath of Snakes Unreal is going to be active. It can only be accessed via raid finder, and you need to have finished the normal Wreath of Snakes before entering the Unreal version. To enter the instance, you need to be level 100 and have an item level of 690 or above. To be able to take on an Unreal trial, you need to have finished the quest Fantastic Mr. Fox. You can do that by going to Idleshire and speaking to the painfully Isgardian man. They have increased the drop rate for the Wings of Eternity in the Minstrel's Ballad, Sween's Burden. And you can also now buy the wings if you have 99 Totem Eternal. The weekly restriction on rewards from the Arcadian Cruiserweight division have been removed, though this does not apply to the Cruiser Holosaber when finishing Cruiserweight Match 4. But the number of Cruise Holosaber required to exchange for Universal Tombstones has been reduced from 7 to 4. A new Alliance Raid dungeon, Sandoria, the Second Walk, has been added. You will need to be item level 725 to enter it. If you enter via Duty Finder, each alliance will be made of 1 tech, 2 healers and 5 DPS. But there are no role restrictions for preformed alliances. Make note, you can receive only 1 reward item per week for completing duties in Sandoria. In the event you are rewarded an item from the loot list, you relinquish your right to Y for all remaining items regardless of whether you select Need or Greed. The reward eligibility is reset every Tuesday. And each party in the Alliance raid will receive its own treasure chest. Upon completing Sandoria, the Second Walk, players can also earn a separate reward once per week, 2 cracked Nova Cluster and 1 Montion coin. The Montion coin can be exchanged with Uyashepa in Solution 9 for items used to enhance equipment purchased with Elegant Tombstones of Mathematics. When it comes to orchestration roles in the raid, a tattered second movement score can be found in each party treasure coffer that appears after each boss. and these can be exchanged with the peculiar goblin in Lower Juno for special orchestration roles relating to the echoes of Vanity. And finally, you will no longer get cracked Nova clusters from completing Juno the first walk. Next is updates to Occult Crescent, the South Horn. When entering with an alliance of 24 members or more, you will always enter a new instance. This newly created instance will be considered occupied, preventing entry by players that are not part of the alliance. If the alliance meets the entry requirements for the Forked Tower, the Auroral Mirage weather effect will begin 5 minutes after entering Occult Crescent. Once the alliance completes entry into the tower, or 10 minutes have passed, the weather will clear and the instance will no longer be considered occupied. If an alliance fails to meet the entry requirements for the Forked Tower, the instance will no longer be considered occupied 5 minutes after entering the Occult Crescent. The minimum numbers of players that must offer Sanguine Ciphers to enter the Forked Tower of Blood has been increased from 16 to 24, and the window displayed when using Sanguine Cipher have been updated to show detailed information on the number of players who have secured entry and those yet seeking entry. Only players who have used the Sanguine Cipher will now be eligible for selection to enter the Forked Tower Blood. While a critical encounter is in progress, the appearance of the Auroral Mirage weather effect will be put on hold. If its occurrence has been deferred, it will begin immediately after the encounter has ended. This way, if you're trying to get into the Forked Tower Blood, you won't be stuck in a critical encounter during the weather effect. During the critical encounter Calamity Bound, the Seal of Sunder mechanic will function differently with a lower number of participants, and the items obtained from Treasure Coffer revealed by Persistent Pots and Happy Bunnies have been changed. In preparation for the introduction of Pilgrim's Traverse in patch 7.35, the spawn location of Rank S and Rank A elite marks in Ilmec have been adjusted. The items required to enhance equipment purchased with Elegant Tombstones of Mathematics, Everchar's Wine and Everchar's Glaze can be purchased from the following vendors: from Ryupol Ja in Tuliolal for Sakanats, and Uyasepa in Solution 9 for Ordel coins and Montion coins. The Montion coins can be found in the new Alliance Raid dungeon, Sanatoria the Second Walk. After acquiring the item to enhance your equipment, speak with Yon in Solution 9 and exchange them for gear of your choice. In Duty Finder updates, players can no longer join duties in progress if they have never cleared one or more of the duties they've registered for. This change was implemented to help ensure players can fully enjoy duties they are experiencing for the first time. When registering for a duty roulette that includes duties you have yet to complete, you will no longer be matched into in-progress parties instances for any duties in that roulette. In Raid Finder updates, the Mystery Trial and the Wreath of Snake on Reel have been added, and the Duty Recollection Extreme has been moved from the Raid Finder to the Duty Finder. Players will now receive the power of the Echo in the events of all party members being incapacitated during the following trials. In Recollection, each time a player restarts the aforementioned trial, they will be granted a 10% Echo effect boost, which increases each restart up to a maximum of 50%. If a player restarts after battling for less than 3 minutes, they will not be granted this effect. In Recollection Extreme, each restart will give a 5% Echo boost to a maximum of 25%. The strength of the Echo granted in the Arcadium Light Heavyweight Tier Savage version has been increased. The Echo will take effect upon commencing this duty, increasing player maximum HP and healing potency by 20%. Unlike other instances, the strength of the Echo will not increase in the event of all party members being incapacitated. The duties listed with the Duty Roulette Expert has been updated. Like before, there will be 2 duties in the Duty Roulette Expert, this time the Underkeep and the Meso Terminal. And minimum item level has been increased from 705 to 720. In turn, Yubivata Field Station has been added to the Duty Roulette level cap dungeons, and the item level requirement has been increased from 670 to 690. The Mystery Trial has been added to the Duty Roulette trials. For the Mentor Roulette, the Meso Terminal, the Sandoria the Second Walk, and the Mystery Trial have all been added, with the mentor item level requirement being increased from 715 to 725. The mystery trial has also been added to the challenges in Stone, Sky and Sea. With Cutter's Cry being added due to support, there have been some changes made. The shifting sands that allow players to progress through the dungeon will now appear after defeating a certain number of enemies, so that skip has now been basically disabled. The Myrmidon Princess, Giant Tunnel Worm and the Chimera boss battles have all been adjusted. And now we go to PvP updates. First is a change for all jobs and a change for the melee DPS. Then there are changes to Paladin, Dark Knight, Gunbreaker and Dragoon. Next, the Samurai and Viper, Bard and Machinist, Dancer and Black Mage, and finally Pictomancer. They have made adjustments to the following actions to increase visibility in PvP. For Warrior it's the Primal Ruination and Primal Wrath. Dragoons it is the Starcross action. For Dancer is the Dance of the Dawn. Summoner it is Slipstream and Mega Flare. For Red Mage is Embolden and Prefulenge. For Pictomancer it is Comet in Black. For Astrologian it is Gravity 2, Macrocosmos, Lady of Crown, Lord of Crown and Celestial River. And then a unique visual effect will be used when the following status effects are applied to a target. That is for the Dark Knight's Undead Redemption, for the Gunbreaker's Nebula, the Samurai's Hisatsu Saiten, and Black Mage's Wreath of Fire and Wreath of Ice. And apparently Purify has been removed from Quick Chat. A number of previous PvP series rewards have been made available for trophy crystals, and Series 9 will begin. And it looks like the big reward this time around is this outfit. For Crystalline Conflict, there is a new arena, the Bayside Battleground. It has a new arena event, which is the Jump Cliff. If you step on a jump cliff, it will rapidly transport you to a specific location on the field. And with the adjustment of the Bayside Battleground, the following adjustments have been made to the arena rotation for casual and ranked matches. The order will be the Palestra, the Volcanic Heart, the Clockwork Castletown, the Bayside Battleground, Cloud9, and then the Red Sands. And then the cycle will repeat. Each arena will be available for 90 minutes before changing to the next one. A respawn timer for medicine kits has been added, and the time until a medicine kit can be claimed after spawning has been reduced. Players under the effect of hysteria or seduce can no longer utilize the arena events, those being the Jump Cliff in the Cloud9, the Trick Doors in the Clockwork Castletown, the Shifting Sands in the Red Sands, and the Jump Cliffs in Bayside Battleground. Players can now register to join casual matches with a party of 2 players, and 2 new tiers called Omega and Ultima are being added to ranked matches. These 2 tiers are ranked above Crystal tier and require a sufficient Crystal credit score for promotion. For Japan Data Center, Omega will require 2000 Crystal and Ultima 4000. In North America and Europe, it is 1500 for Omega and 3000 for Ultima, and in Oceania it is 1000 for Omega and 2000 for Ultima. Players who reach Omega or Ultima tiers by the end of the season will receive a Framer's Kit and an achievement. For ranked PvP players, Season 15 will end and Season 16 is beginning. With the season ending, the top 300 ranking players from the North American, European or Japanese data centers and the top 100 ranking players from the Oceania data center will receive a voucher via the Moogle delivery service. Players finishing in Bronze tier or higher can claim rewards by speaking with the seasoned quartermaster at the Wolf's Den Pier. Season 16 will be held in the following data center: in Elemental for Japan, Dynamis for North America, Chaos for Europe, and Materia for Oceania. For Frontlines, they have made minor adjustments to Paladins and Warriors being shown on the screen right now. And now we can see new items being added in the patch. This is the new gear from the Alliance raid. It is looking quite nice. New recipes are being added, including these very pretty outfits. I personally suspect you are gonna need some ingredient from the new treasure map dungeon to actually craft these. They have also changed the name of the following items: Tattered sheet music is now called Tattered First Movement Score. Big Bang Ticket is now Big Bang Ticket Sinus Artorum. Blank Riviera Partition is now Highland Partition. And the Riviera Partition is now Highland Partition Door. Certain items can now be sold, desynthesized or submitted for expert delivery missions. And there is plenty of gear getting the second die slot. They will be scrolling by on the screen right now because I am not reading all of this. The Far Eastern Gentleman set and Far Eastern Beauty set can now be equipped regardless of gender. These are both store sets, so I recommend trying them out in the dream fitting before you buy them. The confirmation prompt displayed when dispelling glamours now also indicates that dice and company crest will be removed. When using a gamepad in Glamour Dresser window, cancelling from the Glamour Creation window will now return the cursor to the Glamour Dresser window. A button to filter by your current class or job has been added next to the drop-down filter of shop windows. They've made some adjustment to dream fitting. These changes are being made to address an issue where selecting a gear set to preview would expand the list of its individual pieces, shifting the item order and making it difficult to select the next set. For mouse controls, clicking on a tire set will now only display a preview of the selected set. Clicking it a second time or clicking the plus sign next to the attire set will display a list of gear pieces together with the preview. For gamepad controls, you can now preview a tire set without displaying the list of gear pieces by pressing either the Y or triangle button while a set is tentatively selected. A supplementary text explaining search result is now displayed at the bottom of an item search list window. In accordance with this change, the log message notifying players when a search result are not up to date will no longer be displayed. New items have been added to gathering points. The Time-Worn Loba skin map and Time-Worn Brack skin maps can now be obtained from certain botanist gathering points in Heritage Found, though no changes have been made to the gathering points themselves. A new fish has been added. Crafted item level 740 can now be exchanged for upgraded item level 750. To do this, you need to speak to Irene in Solution 9. To upgrade the item, you will obviously need the item and Immortal Rain, which you can buy from Irene for elegant tombstones of heliometry. The level caps of these synths has been increased from 740 to 750, and the following additions and adjustments have been made to Cosmic Exploration. The option to travel to Sinus Artorum has been added to the Aetherite in Beastway Burrow, so you no longer have to run over to speak the driving way if you don't want to. You can now summon mounts in Sinus Artorum, though you cannot fly. A summoning bell has been placed in Sinus Artorum, and new items are now available in exchange for Cosmo credits. These include the Cosmic Exploration Ethernet ticket and items tradable for existing crafter and gatherer scripts. If you use the Exploration Ethernet ticket, it will transport you to Driving Way in Mare Lamentorium. The notation indicating difficulty of Class A missions has been changed. I don't know how to explain this, so just please look at the screen. The time allowed for Stellar missions has been increased. The sound effects played when starting and completing Stellar missions have been changed. When completing a Stellar mission, the amount of experience gained for Bronze and Silver rating has been increased, such that all rating tiers now grant the same amount of experience. When completing mission that can be accepted by multiple classes, each class will earn points toward their Cosmic Class score. Players can now confirm the relative distance to the site of Stellar missions via the Stellar mission window, with a blue arrow meaning nearby, yellow arrow meaning far, and red arrow meaning very far. When undertaking Stellar missions, the objective and gold star rating requirements will now always be displayed. Items that will be graded for Stellar mission will list score prerequisites in their description. A notification marker indicating availability of provisional missions will now appear in the Stellar mission window. Notification will now be displayed when sequential missions become available, and the time limit for accepting sequential missions after they appear has been removed. In accordance with this change, the clock icon indicating a time limit will no longer display in the list of accepted missions. When a red alert has been issued, the time remaining to accept critical missions will be displayed in the Stellar mission window. When both the red alert progress gauges are filled, periodically announcement will indicate that the alert is nearly resolved. The mission in progress window will automatically display when reporting is the only remaining step to completing a mission. The mission log will now indicate when further exploration is required to trigger a mission. Upon completing Gathering Stellar mission, you will receive gathering point equal to the total amount spent during the mission. Upon completing Gathering Stellar mission, the recast timer of gathering point recovery items such as cordials will be reset. When Stellar mission for Botanist and Miner are graded based on successive gathering chains or Gatherer's boon, the evaluation criteria and scores will now be displayed in the chat log. When Stellar mission for fishing are graded based on collectability, Collect must be activated to begin fishing. The time limits for mech ops, Directive Destroy Corrupt Crystal and Directive Clear Toxic Lunar Spongoi has been increased from 5 to 10 minutes. The amount by which ground support contributes to the progress gauge during these objectives has been increased. When undertaking the mech op directive Destroy Corrupted Crystal, the special action Carrot Gun will automatically target the nearest enemy if none is selected. In accordance with this change, the option to enable or disable auto-targeting for special actions has been removed. The special action Full Throttle available in the mech op directive Clear Toxic Lunar Spongoi no longer has a cast timer. When a project has been completed and progress advanced to the next stage, announcement will be displayed at the top of the screen if no new project is underway. A notification window will now automatically appear if there have been any progress in ongoing projects since you last visited a cosmic exploration area. The requirements for certain stellar successes has been changed. Players who have already met these requirements will earn stellar successes after completing any stellar mission. The changes are scrolling by on the screen right now. It seems to mostly be lowering the requirements. And finally, the design of the Cosmic Exploration Info UI element has been adjusted. New mounts are being added, including this very cute thing. And a mounting animation has been added when porting mounts. Apparently, the motion does not apply to certain mounts. New chocobo parting has been added, and new minions are being added, including these very pretty rays. New fashion accessories are being added, including a torch, which looks really cool. And new facewear is being added. And now we go to system updates. Graphical adjustments have been made to player character models based on feedback from the community. And because of this, we are able to get yet another vial of Fantasia from the Wandering Moogle in Gridania. This will only be available until the release of patch 7.4, so make sure to go get your Fantasia. I am slowly just building up a collection of these because I am not using them, but it's nice to have them nonetheless, in case I ever want to use them. A graphical update has been made to several different gear pieces. Their names are scrolling by on the screen right now. Chat bubbles are being implemented, allowing messages to be displayed above characters' heads, as we can see on this very friendly Hrothgar. Chat bubble settings, including options to adjust text and background color, can be found under the General tab of Log Window Setting in the Character Configuration menu. The display of chat bubbles can be enabled or disabled at any time, and chat bubbles are disabled by default. Make note, chat bubbles will not display when using performance actions during battle or during PvP encounters. Even when enabled, there is an additional setting to display your own messages. A slider is also available to adjust the number of chat bubbles shown from 10 to 100. When multiple chat bubbles overlap, the most recent message will appear in the foreground. Chat bubbles will have a fixed width and character limit. Messages that exceed this limit will be truncated with a trailing ellipsis. The chat bubble format can be set to 1 or 2 lines. Messages consisting solely of single words or phrases from the auto-translation dictionary will always appear in full on a single line. There are 3 chat bubble size settings: normal, large, and maximum. Please note that changing the setting does not affect message character limit. The different chat modes such as say, yell and shout have unique chat bubble designs, each with their own setting for text and background color. Chat bubbles from players who are blacklisted or muted will be hidden, with only a few exceptions. Furthermore, words blocked by profanity filter will be displayed as question marks. Display ranges for players and monsters has been increased in the following areas. You can now choose between normal, extended and maximum display ranges. The default is normal, matching the range used prior to patch 7.3. This distance can be adjusted under the other settings in the system configuration menu, only on Windows. Applicable areas are cities, fields, housing areas, the firmament, the Mandeville Gold Saucer, cosmic exploration area, Occult Crescent, and instance events. Certain areas are not affected. In order to prevent server congestion, we will be implementing multiple field instances of Shallow Annie, Heritage Found, Living Memory, and Lower Juno. We will be monitoring server activity and remove this feature when congestion is determined to be no longer an issue. The division of Tuliolal and Yaktel into multiple instances added to alleviate congestion in patch 7.25 will be removed. The following additions and adjustments have been made to the achievements. New achievements and titles have been added. Certain duties and trials will now count towards completion of achievements. Following the release of patch 7.3, Hell's Gear Unreal will no longer be counted. The following additions have been made to retainers. New retainer exploration ventures have been added, and new items can now be obtained from quick exploration ventures. For portraits, both new accents and poses have been added. And a new adventure plate accent has been added as well, and I absolutely love it. The following additions and adjustments have been made to group pose. They have added chromatic aberration. A filter intensity slider has been added. So after selecting a color filter, you can adjust its intensity with values ranging from 0 to 100. Portrait mode has been added. This mode includes a portrait preview feature that simulates the framing of vertical shots, allowing you to easily adjust the camera angle, place stickers, and apply frames. Any stickers or frame configured in Portrait Preview will be automatically applied when you enter Portrait mode. Please note that some frame effects may not display correctly. Portrait mode is based on 16:9 screen ratio. If your display has a taller aspect ratio, black bars will appear at the top and bottom of the screen. Using the portrait mode, first you select Portrait Preview to verify the final appearance of your screenshot while adjusting the settings. Then select and frame and apply stickers as desired. Select Portrait Mode to display your desired image at full size, rotated at 90 degrees. And then you take your screenshot. The direction of the 90-degree rotation can be adjusted by selecting either Rotate Left or Rotate Right under Portrait Mode settings in the General Setting tab of the Group Pose setting window. In other G-Pose updates, new stickers have been added. Under the Text tab in Sticker Mode, stickers containing character information can now be rotated. The patched logo frame has been updated with the patch 7.3 logo. Effect settings and general settings have been added to the Group Pose setting menu. And in the Group Pose setting menu, general settings has been changed to camera settings, and effect frame setting has been changed to screen setting. An option to face the camera when Group Pose is activated has been added. This option can be enabled or disabled under general settings in Group Pose. This setting is enabled by default. You can now toggle the settings added in patch 7.1 that determines whether camera tilt and pan movement follow the screen orientation or remain fixed when the camera is roll rotated. This option can be found under the general settings in the Group Pose menu and is enabled by default. Depth of field can now be enabled for Group Pose and the idling camera, even when disabled under graphics setting in the system configuration menu on Windows and Mac. This feature is enabled for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 and Xbox Series X and S automatically. The following adjustments have been made to the jog status effect. Jog will now be removed when participating in the activities The Slice is Right and Crystalline Conflict. Jog will now be removed upon gaining the transportation status effect. Previously, while the effect of jog was not active during transportation, a status icon would still display. This has been addressed, and the icon will now also be removed as intended. When inside a deep dungeon, jog will now be removed when afflicted with a sprint penalty status effect. A glamour button has been added to the window displayed when examining player equipment. and the following adjustments have been made to the blacklist. While measures were implemented in patch 7.2 to make it more difficult to confirm or reference portrait of character IDs not normally visible during gameplay, further adjustments have been made in patch 7.3. As a result, certain locally stored client data will be reset. We apologize for any inconvenience caused and ask for your understanding as we introduce these measures. If you want to learn more about it, I have made a video on the blacklist update. But in short, blacklist comments saved between patch 7.0 and 7.2 have been deleted. All information registered on the mute list has been deleted. And now blacklist registration for players on your contact list is now only possible while you remain logged in. You can now adjust the transparency of the chat prompt. This setting can be found under Log window setting in the character configuration menu. An automatic option has been added to the character and object quantity setting on the display limit. All player setting will be uniformly switched to automatic upon the release of patch 7.3. Moreover, automatic will be the new default for the feature. On Windows and Mac, this setting can be adjusted under other settings in the system configuration menu. And those are the patch notes for 7.3. Tell me, what are you most excited for in the patch notes? I am quite excited both for the main story, but also some of the gear coming with the patch. I think it's quite pretty. And of course, I really need to find out where I can get that writing emote. So if you know that, tell me about it down in the comments. If you found the video helpful, make sure to give it a commendation by liking and subscribing. And in the end, all I want to say is takk fyrir að horfa, byggðu yndislegan dag.